Welcome, everybody. My name is Peter Van Praagh. I'm president of Halifax International Security Forum, and I'm very pleased to be here with the Honourable Harjit Sajjan, Canada's Minister of National Defence. Well, the Prime Minister kept us in suspense until almost the last minute, but we are very glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Welcome. If you didn't come, we would have no one to lead the 5K run on Sunday morning. Minister, thank you, and thank you to the Government of Canada for its continued support of the Halifax International Security Forum. Thank you to the Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency for your partnership and support. Minister, you recognize the value of bringing the democratic world together to have frank and open conversations about our shared defense and security. Your commitment to this conference and your enthusiasm are some of the reasons for its continued success. One of our secret ingredients, however, is also the city of Halifax. Its energy, hospitality, and warmth instantly put our delegates at ease, which makes it easier to find common ground. At the forum every year, we discuss the current challenges facing our world's democracies. Our goal this weekend is to strive for clarity on the issues. And with strong voices like Minister Sajjan's, I'm confident that we can achieve our goals.
Thank you.
Through discussion, better understanding, and even compromise, we can identify our common purpose as democracies. Today, over 300 participants have traveled from 80 countries to join a select group of fellow democratic thinkers to have a real conversation about international security and the challenges facing our nations now and into the future. So welcome to the 2019 Halifax International Security Forum, and I encourage you all to be part of the conversation by watching the live stream of our plenary sessions on our website, halifaxtheforum.org, through Facebook Live, or on social media with the hashtag HISF2019. I'm going to take the opportunity now to introduce you to my colleague, the director of our Peace with Women Fellowship Program. Halifax International Security Forum is the name of our organization, as well as the name of the conference held here every November. But Halifax International Security Forum, the organization, does more than the forum held here every November. And Praagh Magat is here to tell you a little bit about the Peace with Women Fellowship. Praagh?
Good morning. I stand here with you today extremely excited after having come off the second successful Peace with Women Fellowship. We just completed 4 weeks on the road throughout North America, in the United States and Canada, in order to expose 11 fellows from 10 NATO countries to modern security as this organization sees it. We've spent the last 4 weeks meeting with top experts in a multitude of fields in order to help develop the networks and knowledge of these senior women who are the best that we could possibly ask for in the leadership across these nations. The fellowship ends here at the Halifax International Security Forum. We hope that will continue in the years to come. The fellowship will culminate here at the forum, and I think there might be some interest to hear how our experience over the last 4 weeks really has made us realize that it takes the whole of society in order to promote women's leadership across the world. I'm happy to talk more about that as the weekend continues. I also want to acknowledge the time we've spent in Canada, who, through the minister's leadership, has really been a leader in the field of women, peace, and security. And our position here in Halifax would not be possible without the Government of Canada's support of women leaders across NATO. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Praagh. Minister, the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you very much, Peter, and thank you, Praagh. Good morning, everyone. It's great to be back in Halifax. I'd like to first begin by saying that today's press conference, by acknowledging that we are gathered on the traditional and ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. I also want to acknowledge Andy Fillmore, our local member of parliament here. On behalf of the Government of Canada, I am proud to welcome you to the Halifax International Security Forum. I look forward to meeting with many of the world's leaders in defense and security and the insightful and essential conversations that will happen over the next 3 days. Now, HISIF is a key event on the annual security and defense calendar. This year's themes highlight the urgent need to be innovative in our approaches as we are to tackle today's most pressing issues. The modern security challenges we face on the global stage are diverse, complex, and far-reaching. They pose a challenge to our collective security and the rule-based international order that is the very foundation for peace and stability. We are dealing with the return to great power competition, violent extremism, and rapid technological change in all domains. Global instability is heightened by the effects of climate change and scarcity. And to our interconnectedness means enormous opportunity is tempered with vulnerability and risk. Now, these issues, no single nation can tackle alone. They require an unprecedented level of international cooperation and unity. We must ask ourselves and each other how to maintain readiness, strengthen deterrence, and protect our ability to deploy our military forces around the world. Today's threats underscore the value of our international partnerships and multilateral relationships. And HISIF plays an important role in supporting this global cooperation. The issues we are discussing this year, from Asia to the Middle East to the Arctic, are not straightforward. But all of us have an opportunity to pave the way forward towards a world in which democracy and the rule of law are upheld. And I'm confident that the expertise of all the participants will lead to an engaging discussions that will bring us one step closer to realizing this vision. Now, these conversations will be vital in strengthening our cooperation and positioning us to advance our security and defense objectives for the years ahead. The Department of National Defense is proud to be a partner with HISIF. I want to express my personal thanks to Peter von Praagh and everyone involved in organizing this year's forum. We appreciate all the hard work that Peter, you and your team have put into this fantastic event. I would also take this opportunity to welcome two new additions to the HISIF Board of Directors, Ms. Cindy McCain and retired Major General Tammy Harris. These two strong women bring a wealth of knowledge, insight, and expertise to the defense community, both here in Canada and internationally. I also want to recognize two accomplished Canadians, Lieutenant General Christine Whitecross and Canada's first Ambassador for Women, Peace and Security, Jacqueline O'Neill, who are also attending this forum. And I also want to take a moment to congratulate Major General Francis Allen and my Deputy Minister Jody Thomas, who are both recognized for being part of Canada's top 100 most powerful women. Now, when we increase the diversity in defense, it makes our forces more operationally effective. It improves how we understand conflict zones and affords greater access to communities. Now, finally, I want to thank all of our distinguished participants. This forum is an important opportunity to harness diverse views and experiences. Your passion and dedication towards solving our world's most important challenges is appreciated, and it will serve us well into the future. And I'm excited to get started to see what this year's forum has in store for us. Thank you very much. Merci, and I'll take your questions.
We'll start with Brad Raskin from CBC Halifax.
Good morning, Minister. Congratulations on your renewed cabinet post. A question for any of you on stage. How did we get to a point where we're hosting a talk about women's contributions to security solutions featuring 4 men and no women?
Well, the first thing I want to say is that our government, we're very proud to be part of the first gender balance cabinet. And we take every opportunity to be able to promote women, peace, and security, not only in the Canadian Armed Forces. And I'm very proud to see the work that Paz and her team has done with the fellowship. And I understand that that panel is evolving, but I'll let Paz and Peter answer that question.
Thank you, Minister. Certainly, we've been listening to the feedback about this panel. This panel was not an accident. we are hoping to have a meaningful conversation about what it's going to take to truly elevate the role of women. And in order to really leverage the human capacity of all the people involved, we still need the people in positions of power to be able to let us do that. And we're hoping that this panel will address some of the barriers and challenges that still impede women and all people of minorities to really have a seat at the table.
Minister, you mentioned the panel is evolving. Are we changing the composition of the panel attendees?
I'll let Peter, the team masters, answer that question for you.
It's continuing to evolve. That's the best I can do for you right now.
Thank you.
Take the question from the lady on the prize.
Actually, that was my question too, Brett. You stole it right out of my mouth. I'm curious if we are going to see any women on that panel, and if so, what sorts of things will they be addressing? When you mentioned that you need people in positions of power, are there no women in positions of power who can speak to these issues?
So the panel continues to evolve, and certainly there are women across the world who sit in positions of power. Until that scale tips, I think we still need to find the champions who can have the right conversations, who can hold truth to power, who can truly ask the good questions of what are we missing? How are we actually developing our forces and our society so that all voices are represented?
And I think it's important when it comes to, I just highlighted a number of very accomplished, powerful women in important roles. And I think it's important at our time that we still have a more comprehensive look and discussions. And to do this, you need to make sure that you have that perspective from the very powerful women that are out there. Plus, it's very important, I think, when I go across Canada in all corners of this beautiful country, young girls, including like my daughter, are looking for role models. And when they get to hear about my Deputy Minister, Jody Thomas, and my daughter got to meet Jody, they get inspired. And we need to highlight that. We need to promote and show what these women can do so they can inspire a whole new generation of young women that they too can accomplish and in fact actually do even more.
I'll take the question from AP.
Hi. This question for Peter and the minister. How much of a focus is China during this weekend, and why is it so important to talk about the Chinese regime right now?
Thanks, Rob. We are going to talk about China, and we need to be talking about China. And it's not too late to be talking about China, but it is late to be talking about China. There are a lot of different angles to talk with regards to China. We can talk about trade and economics. We can talk about security. We can talk about human rights. We have a panel this afternoon, which I think sums it all up, which is values trade. And the issue really that strikes to the heart of this is a country, a big country, that does not share our values. And yet, there are Canadians, there are Americans who do a lot of business, and it does create jobs. And so, what are we willing to surrender in terms of our own values in cooperation with China? And where is that line drawn? And this is an issue not just for Canada. This is an issue for the United States. This is an issue for Canada's European and Asian allies. And it's an issue that all of us are dealing with at this time. And so we hope at the forum that there will be the right people, and the right people will be in the room. And the hope is that that together we can begin getting some real clarity going forward.
No, thank you. A great question. But before I answer that question specifically, I want to first acknowledge that we do have 2 Canadians that have been arbitrarily detained in China. And we asked for China for their expeditious release. which is extremely important to us. And it is important to discuss China, as we discuss the many other challenges that we have around the globe. It's important we as our government, we see the importance of trade, how it has brought prosperity to many of our countries. But we also have to be mindful that through that relationship, we also need to have our difficult discussions. We are not going to back away from the values that our nation holds when it comes to human rights and also the international rules-based order. That international rules-based order has allowed us to have that predictability so we can all operate together, to have those diplomatic discussions, to be able to work through our differences. And these conversations will allow for that, to allow us to look at what type of conversations can we have, what type of actions that are needed. Because at the end of the day, what we want to do is to bring back that international rules-based order that has worked so well for the prosperity of our nations.
We have time for one more question. Lori Brewster from CBC.
Just following on that theme of China, can you define what the West's relationship with China is now? Is China an adversary? I ask Mr. Von Pratt or Minister Sajjan, is China an adversary of the West now?
Murray, it's nice to see you in Halifax. Welcome. There's different language that we can use. Competitor, strategic competitor, adversary. I think it's clear that China and Canada do not share the same interests. There is some intermingling on some issues, but China has a very different view of the world than Canada's view of the world. And when I say Canada, I don't speak for Canada, but I'm in Canada today, and this is where I'm from. But I think that Canada, the United States, its democratic European allies, democratic countries in Asia, South Asia, East Asia, they have a different worldview than China. And the message that I think we're hearing in advance of the forum is that it is time to recognize that China has a different worldview and to measure as accurately as we can what its ambitions are so that we can be properly prepared.
Minister, one supplementary question, and it relates to on October 1st, China, in its military parade, displayed for the first time hypersonic missiles and its ability to be able to knock out ships at varying ranges. Is that going to change the Canadian Navy's posture when it comes to Operation Neon?
So, first of all, in regards to the previous question, I think we don't consider China as an adversary, but you can't at the same time look at it and have this discussion as one package. We have good cooperation on certain parts of trade, but we also have challenges in some areas and significant challenges in another. And one thing that has strained our relationship is the arbitrary detention of our two Canadians. But this is a time for us to be able to work together and to be able to come up with those solutions. Some of the things that China, from a security perspective, has been doing is concerning, and we need to be mindful of that. But it's only through the appropriate discussions we're able to get back into a rules-based order. And these are some of the discussions that we have probably a little bit more intensively at the Shangri-La Dialogue in Singapore every year. And we look forward to working through some of those. But we do need to be mindful to have those important discussions. And when it comes to some of the military challenges and risks, we take not only that into account, we take all those risks into account. And one of the things when we have put our defense policy together was to look at all those threats and to have making sure that we have the flexibility within our defense policy to be able to meet those challenges. So we are mindful of any time we deploy our troops, making sure that their safety is number one priority. But also, let's not forget that when it comes to innovation, we're putting significant investments into our innovations to making sure that, one, not only Canada, but with our closest allies, we stay at the cutting edge of technology, and also make sure that we can collaborate on that research and development. But when it comes to that threat or any other threat, we take extremely seriously to making sure that we have the right measures in place.